What is the price of human life? For power, not one life, not 1,000, not even 1,000,000. The cost is counted in tens, sometimes hundreds of millions of lives. Lost not to natural disasters or disease alone, but to wars created by human ambition. War isn't just about soldiers and weapons. It's a story of power, ideology, fear, and greed, turning farmlands into graveyards and cities into ashes. In this video, we'll explore the deadliest wars in human history, from the ancient world to the modern era. We're not just looking at the numbers, but asking why these wars began, who benefited, and why ordinary people always paid the ultimate price. This is the story of humanity's deadliest conflicts. When people think of the deadliest wars, most immediately think of World War II. But centuries before tanks, aircraft, or nuclear weapons existed, the world had already witnessed a catastrophe that was, relative to the population, even deadlier. In the 8th century, China's Tang dynasty was one of the most powerful and prosperous empires on Earth. Its population is estimated at around 80 million people, an astonishing number for its time. From within this empire rose a military general named An Lushan. He was not ethnically Chinese, but a foreign-born commander who had gained immense influence through the military. As the central government weakened, An Lushan made a decision that would change history forever. He rebelled. What followed was not a short conflict. The An Lushan Rebellion spiraled into a devastating civil war that destroyed major cities, collapsed food systems, and triggered widespread famine and disease. Historians estimate that somewhere between 36 and 40 million people died. That means nearly 2/3 of the Tang Empire's population vanished, not just from combat, but from starvation and total societal collapse. It remains one of the deadliest single events in human history, yet it's rarely discussed outside of academic circles. It's a chilling reminder that before modern technology, human ambition was already capable of destruction on a scale that is difficult to comprehend. Now, let's journey forward a few centuries. When a man united the nomadic tribes of Mongolia, the world had no idea it was about to change forever. His name was Genghis Khan. In less than a century, Mongol armies conquered territory stretching from East Asia to Eastern Europe, creating the largest contiguous land empire in history. But this rapid expansion was built on a foundation of systematic terror. Cities that resisted were erased from the map. Populations that refused to surrender were slaughtered. Fear became one of their most effective weapons. It's estimated that 40 to 60 million people died as a result of the Mongol conquests. The devastation was so widespread that some researchers even suggest that the abandoned farmland turned back into forests, causing a measurable drop in atmospheric carbon levels, literally changing the planet's climate. The Mongol conquests reveal a brutal truth: military efficiency, when unchecked by moral restraint, can erase entire civilizations. Let's move to Europe in the 17th century. The 30 Years' War is often described simply as a religious war, but it was far more complex. It began as a conflict between Catholics and Protestants, but it quickly morphed into a brutal struggle for political dominance among powerful kingdoms. The true victims were not the kings or nobles, but the civilians. Armies of mercenaries survived by looting. Villages were burned to the ground. Entire regions were stripped of food and resources, leading to mass starvation. In parts of what is now Germany, up to 40% of the population was wiped out. The total death toll is estimated at between 8 and 12 million people, a staggering number for Europe at the time. The 30 Years' War taught the world a harsh lesson. Ideological wars fought in the name of God or belief often become simple, brutal wars for power. Fast forward to the 20th century. World War I was once called the war to end all wars. It was triggered by a single assassination but fueled by decades of rising nationalism, complex military alliances, and a frantic arms race. For the first time in history, industrialized warfare reached a massive, terrifying scale. Machine guns mowed down soldiers in waves. Poison gas choked them in their trenches. Heavy artillery turned landscapes into cratered moons. Endless trench warfare defined the conflict, with millions fighting and dying for mere inches of mud. In just 4 years, approximately 20 million people were killed, including both soldiers and civilians. An entire generation of young men was lost. The great empires of Europe were left shattered, and the bitter peace that followed only planted the seeds for an even deadlier conflict just 2 decades later. The war to end all wars had failed. That failure led directly to the deadliest war in modern history. World War II was not merely a military conflict, it was a total ideological war. Fascism, Nazism, and aggressive imperial expansion collided on a global scale, drawing nearly every country on Earth into the fight. The estimated death toll is almost unimaginable, ranging from 70 to 85 million people. For the first time in a major war, civilians made up more than half of the victims. The Holocaust alone claimed 6 million Jewish lives, a state-sponsored genocide of unparalleled scale. Entire cities, from London to Dresden to Tokyo, were destroyed from the air, and for the first time in human history, nuclear weapons were used in warfare, ushering in a new age of existential terror. World War II reshaped the global order and left humanity with a question that still remains unanswered. Did we actually learn anything from history? While the world was focused on the war in Europe and the Pacific, another massive conflict was raging. Often overshadowed by World War II, the Chinese Civil War was one of the deadliest internal conflicts ever recorded. Fought between the nationalist forces of the Kuomintang and the Communist Party, the war devastated China for decades. It's estimated that up to 8 million people died, not just through combat, but through widespread famine, disease, and the political instability that tore the country apart. This was not just a struggle for control of territory, it was a battle over the future soul and direction of an entire nation, and its consequences are still felt today. When we examine these wars together, a clear and disturbing pattern emerges. The deadliest wars are rarely fought for the benefit of ordinary people. They are started by elites, they are decided by leaders, and they are paid for with the lives of civilians. History is not just a record of the past, it is a warning. It shows us that as long as power is pursued without limits, and as long as ambition is valued more than human life, the list of the deadliest wars in history may not be finished yet. The final question remains, will the next great war be just another chapter written in history books? Or is it already being prepared today? Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into history.